Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Patrick Allmond from StopDoingNothing.com, and I am very excited because on Stop Doing Nothing right now, we are starting to interview other high-value, high-achiever, highly productive experts in the field of entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, and as I was lining people up, one of the very first people I reached out to is a kick-ass gentleman, the hardcore closer in Dallas, Texas, Ryan Stewman, and probably one of the very few people I've actually met in person out of all of my internet friends. And so I got him scheduled. I'm very excited, and you need to go check out his stuff. But I got Ryan Stewman for a couple of minutes. And Ryan, how you doing today?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, man, if you remember that time that you were at an event in my building. Like, how crazy is that? Like, Dallas is a huge city, 1.5 million people. And you're like, I'm at an event in Dallas. And I get that all the time, right? People are like, hey, man, I'm in Dallas or whatever. I'm like, dude, that's like saying you're in New York or LA. It's not the same. You know, it's a big city.
Right.
And you're like, no, man, I think I'm in your building. And I'm like, dude, you are. You're like totally in. Then when I went down there and I started talking to you, the guys got a little pissed off at us, remember, because we were being a little loud.
Yep.
Like, hey, what are y'all doing over there?
Which is kind of funny because it's a group of speakers. Speakers are already personalities and they're already loud. I was at a small speaker conference down there. And I think what had happened is I had taken a picture because that condo you live in was just sick. And there was like a pool outside. There was like a thunderstorm or something. I posted a picture of it and put it online, or somehow I saw you had posted a picture of it. I'm like, that's the same building we're in right there. So that place, are you still live in the same place, or is it that same area?
No, so I moved up north to the suburbs, man. I have a house now. I outgrew we had a penthouse there.
Nice.
And it was cool, man. The elevator opened up inside. It was the coolest place I've ever now it's a normal, boring house. I mean, it's a nice house, don't get me wrong, but it's just a normal, boring house in the suburbs. You know what I mean? It's not as fancy as being all up in the sky. And I had some good times there, man. I lived there for 3 years.
And now you can be as loud as you want, though, and you don't have to worry about people above you or below you hitting the broom on the roof and banging on you.
Dude, in that building, I didn't worry about that anyway. My neighbors were like Prince Fielder, the baseball player, and I mean, and I've got some probably famous neighbors in this area too where I'm at. But I mean, it was like those walls were thick concrete. You couldn't hear anything. Like it was designed to keep folks' business private, you know.
Nice. So as I've been following you over probably the past 5 years, I know you've been in business a lot longer than that, but things are just blowing up for you. Mainly what I want to talk about today is I know you do a lot about sales and how to close. And I've seen, by the way, I pick out all the little nuances in videos. And one of my favorite moments was when you were at the Funnel Hacker Conference and that guy's talking about those plastic containers he has that won't close. And you made that joke about, man, that sounds like the only thing that's not closed and things like that. At that point in time, you should just like drop the mic and walk off the stage, because that to me was one of the best moments ever. But I want to talk a little bit.
Wrong line of business. I really am. Like, I really shouldn't be in this business. I should be a stand-up comedian. I have routines written down, and everybody who knows me is like, "You're the funniest fuck I've ever met in my life, man." Even my significant other, right, my fiance, she's around me all the time. She's like consistently. She's like, "You're hilarious, man. Like, why don't you're totally in the wrong business. One of these days,
one of these days, you'll take it on the road, man. Maybe
make them laugh the right way."
Maybe get you and Louis C.K. probably my two favorite right there. Get the two of you on stage together, because that guy just pulls no punches either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him.
Let's talk a little bit about as you've grown, what you've had to do to basically like manage your time and be more productive. I know you have a team now, so I'm curious. For example, I'm always really interested like in early morning routines. Like, I'm up at 5 o'clock, down in like 16 to 32 ounces of water right away. I've got a certain routine I do as soon as the alarm clock goes off. In Ryan's world, when the alarm clock goes off, what are the first few things he has to do as soon as he gets up?
Well, so that's recently changed because I have a team and I've had to pull myself away from some things. But traditionally, first thing I would do is roll over and look at my phone. And now I lock my phone in another room. We'll get into that later in the episode. But traditionally, what I did was first thing I did was I looked at my phone. And from there, I would just grab it and lay in bed and then, start seeing what's going on. And really, that's like such a bad idea, because first thing you see is your phone. Your brain just wakes up. You're making it engage. It's like you're already behind the gun because your brain's trying to catch up functioning. It's just a bad idea. But for years, I did that. And I wake up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning without an alarm. And what I like to do is as soon as I get out of bed, I come in and make some coffee, man, and I go to work. I think that if you wake up like we have this unique opportunity where we work from home. And even if you work in an office nearby, which I never understood people that lived a long ways from where they work. Like, why can't get a house or a job close to each other? Like, but especially successful people, it's like, hey, man, make the splurge, So we work from home, so we can wake up at, let's say, 5, and by 5:30 be behind the keyboard answering emails, sending out slide broadcasts so people's phones don't go off, sending out direct messages through Facebook and all that good stuff. And we can work from 5 to 7 in the morning and answer hundreds of unanswered emails and text messages and DMs because everybody else is asleep. And by the time they're waking up at 7, we're already 2 hours worth of work done. Then we've already, like for me as a sales guy, I've already got my prospecting out of the way by 7 a.m. in the morning. I spend the rest of the day being reactive to what's coming in. As people respond to the emails, as people respond, like I call it chum in the water. So I already went out there and thrown a bunch of bait fish everywhere. That's how you know you're from the South, right?
Right.
I went out there and threw a bunch of bait fish everywhere, and I'm just waiting for the sharks to take the bait,
Nice.
And throughout the day, what's going to happen is, let's say we send out 15 to 20 emails and DMs and stuff like that between those 2 hours, like really thought out, well planned. 5 of those people hit you up, then you can carry those conversations throughout the day with them because you're constantly going back and forth with them. Or I wouldn't say constantly, but they, hit you back with an email every couple hours. At the end of the day, you'd probably be ready to do a deal, whether you are an entrepreneur, a coach in car sales, insurance,
right.
But throughout the day, you've been answering their questions and it's been convenient for them. I think that's huge. A lot of salespeople try to rush the sales process, try to get somebody on the phone or whatever. And I think this way, but getting up early plays a huge role in that for me. And I've always been like an early riser anyway, maybe, for the audience members that have never heard of me, which I don't know why you would have ever heard of me before this. Like I went through prison when I was a youngster. And then before that, my stepdad always put me to work and we had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. So for 13 years of age on, I've just always woke up early. Matter of fact, I had somebody the other day, they said, why is it you always wake up early? It's like, do you stay up? Are you a night owl too? I'm like, I really don't like the nighttime. It's like dark and people make a lot of mistakes in the nighttime. And I don't mean just like drunk and woke up next to the wrong person type of mistakes. I mean like people make mistakes while they're driving,
right.
They run over while they're walking on the sidewalk. People get robbed in the nighttime. Like mistakes are made in the nighttime. The daytime's so much more beautiful. The skies are blue. The birds are chirping. The ducks are swimming, all that good stuff. And, I just really enjoy the day. So I want to make the most of it. So what I do is I wake up early so I can get work taken care of. Then I can go hit golf balls for a couple hours during the day. Or if I want to take a nap, or if I want to go ride 4-wheelers with my boys or whatever the case. And I've always been like that though, where even when I was a loan officer, I had a corporate job.
Right.
Work at 7 in the morning, which was early for the bank. It's 2 hours before the bank opened. I would get there at 7 in the morning so I could leave at 2 in the afternoon so I could go enjoy, the blue skies of the day or whatever. They don't always work out like that, but that's the plan,
Right. It's interesting because I have a little bit of a real estate background, and I always thought it was fun. And you tell me if this is true because you with your broker background. When I first got into real estate up here, I would, after I left my corporate job, I would show up at the office like at normal hours for me, normal business working hours. Like I'm at the door at 7:30. I'm at the real estate office at 8 o'clock, and it was just me and like the admin person opens up the front door. Because in real estate people, they don't even think about starting to work before 10 or 11 because that's when they're making their appointments. Is it true in what you're doing now? Or are you finding more people have that attitude that it's good to get up early and get things done? Or do you think most people are still just lagging and sitting on their ass?
Well, I think the wolves wake up early, and I think the sheep sleep late. And so, and that goes for like, that's not a political statement or anything else. It's like, in our group, we say we do wolf shit. Right? While everybody else is just kind of like scrolling through Facebook and enjoying pictures of kids and lunch, we're taking pictures of kids and lunch intentionally so they see our stuff and then go through and look at the rest of the stuff that we posted. Like we're awake. And so I think that if you want to win, you really do need to wake up early, because if you want to win, you got to do stuff that losers don't do, right? That's what makes you a winner.
Right.
If losers sleep till 10 o'clock, or if losers don't show up at work till noon, then you got to do winner stuff, which is wake up early and handle your business. I don't know a single like self-made millionaire that enjoys sleeping. Now, I know some millionaires that have inherited their money and they sleep in, stuff like that. But any entrepreneur that's driven, now let me say this though, there are the exact opposite. There are the people that'll stay at work until 3 a.m. and then they don't get up till 10, but they got ahead at that point too, right?
Right.
But for most people, they, like in your real estate example, they just didn't show up to work till 11 o'clock because they're sheep. They're not doing wolf stuff. I remember when I was probably 12, 11 years old, I met this guy named Les Hudson, who was a real estate agent here in Plano. I was working at the car wash. He'd always come in and get a Suburban wash. And I remember some years later, after I got in trouble, he invited me over to his house to talk to his kids because they were getting in trouble, right? He's like, don't want to wind up like this dude. And I remember asking him some business questions because I was always intrigued, and he's a salesman, and I was always intrigued with that stuff. I must have been like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And he said, well, my day consists of this. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I get the paper from the front porch because they delivered about 4:30. I go through and I circle all, now this is a long time ago, obviously, but I circle all my prospects. Before they leave their house in the morning, I call them about 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I get them up with their alarm. I was like, man, don't people hate you for it? And he's like, yeah, but the people who need me the most, they decide to do business right there on the spot with me, and I'm the #1 agent in my area. And I thought, that's just proof that even and again, all he's doing is pissing the sheep off if they're the people that are still asleep, right? If you happen to call me and I need to sell my house and you're at 7 in the morning, I'm like, bro, you're on it.
Nice.
Some numbers here. So
nice. Okay, so we briefly talked about this because now you're talking about getting up early and doing things early, and you were talking about the calls and the text message and the DMs and stuff like that. And we briefly covered this before we get started, but I've noticed that as involved as I am with social media, which is how we connected, it's become one of those things that if you do not control it, it will consume your life. So we were talking before we were recording about how you manage that now, how you're not on social media all day long. You just don't have time. But can you go into that a little bit? How do you handle social media now so it's not a distraction and taking over your life?
Man, there comes a point, because I've gone through this evolution. I didn't get hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. I'm not that lucky. I've been building this page since 2008. So, and we're at 140,000 or maybe 150,000 people on my hardcore closer page, 50,000 in our sales pro group, and another, let's say 30,000 conservatively on my personal profile, because you got followers that can chime in or whatever.
Right.
And that's all happened within the last 2 years. So we're talking, in 6 years, basically, I've spent building this list. And when you get to it, I didn't hit 5,000 friends till 2014. And so just to put it in perspective, and when you get to 5,000 friends, it's like, that's a lot to keep up with. But Facebook, you and I both know, they're trying to just keep you in charge of about 50 relationships.
Right.
You got the same 50 people in your news feed or whatever, a few groups, few pages, 30 or 40 people. That's how it works, right? Depending on who you engage with. Well, when you get to where there's 200 people, 200,000 people, it becomes overwhelming. And even those 50 relationships, because even there's a point where Facebook's like, even these 50 relationships, especially since they're engaging with me, that's the crazy thing is we've got all these people commenting. Sometimes my posts will get 1,000 likes and 900 comments and stuff like that. So the Facebook algorithm's going, dude, who does this guy connect with? Who's he supposed to follow?
Can't figure it out anymore.
And then the next thing the most popular posts right now, unfortunately, are people that are pissed off for one reason or another, right? Whichever those reasons are, it doesn't matter. It's just one reason or another. And those are the one that get the most sympathy because misery loves company. And I know I'm not innocent from it. Shit, I get mad from time to time and speak out and things like that too. And it works really well for edge rates, so I get the ideas behind it. But at the same time, it's like, man, if you get caught up in that stuff, think about it. You roll out of bed and you look over at your phone and it's some, F Donald Trump or F the government or some snowflakes or some racist Republican. Like, dude, it just consumes you. And first thing in the morning, you're like, I just want to beat somebody's head in, right? It's like, it can really drag you in.
Right.
And so, man, I know myself. I'm a man. I'm an alpha male, and just like everybody else, I feel like I've been put up to the pastures. So sometimes you need take a little aggression out and stuff like that, even though you work out and everything else. And it can suck you in. And we were talking about this before we got on here. I just had to get rid of my news feed. And I had to control my news feed. But that was like phase one. So I got to, let's say, 20,000 followers and 50,000 people on Facebook. And then I downloaded the app, the plugin called Newsfeed Eradicator for Chrome. And I recommend it to all my clients as they're growing too. And it works well because you can save your favorites over there on the right-hand side of the screen.
Right.
Pick the groups and pages that you want to engage in. Well, my problem now is even more so than that, is I get, I won't want to say it's like brag or whatever, but like 5,000 notifications a day maybe. I mean, there's 2 million people a week that organically see my post on the Hardcore Closer page. So, and plus like right now we're running a competition. Dude, I got 900 leads just yesterday. It was like 900
gosh
in a 24-hour spin. So like, can you imagine? And those people message me and they're like, hey, did you get my entrance? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say 500 of them message me and then 500 normal people. And I have 3,500 clients right now. So like the notifications are, it's like overwhelming, not even overwhelming from a fact of keeping up, because that's like it's impossible at this point, but overwhelming on how do I prioritize and who am I ignoring, and holy shit, this is consuming me. So man, I've had to just get the hell out. I don't know what you do when you're scared of stuff, but I run. Too old for it. So I just run, right? And so I'm so scared of Facebook because I'm like, man, it's just too much for me to tackle. So I've had to hire other people to tackle it. Now nobody manages my social media.
Right.
With me, a few people have my logins. Nobody manages I say that. I manage the Ryan Stewman personal page, the Hardcore Closer fan page, and the Hardcore Closer Instagram page. Outside of that, you're not talking to me, right? But in those 3 pages, it's me. And I put autoresponders on the fan page, so that's worked well. When somebody sends me a message, they get an instant message back going, holy shit, I'm overwhelmed. There's no way I'll ever answer this. If you're serious, send me an email to ryan@hardcorecloser.com. If you're asking about our products, all we sell is boom, and there's the link to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage. And believe it or not, most people, that's what they're wanting to know, what products I have anyway. So I'm making sales from that autoresponder right there because that's what they were looking for. And I've learned that. That's why I put it in there. Right. And then the people that send an email, if they go out of their way to send an email, then we got ourselves a better lead than a Facebook lead, because emails usually have name, email address, and phone number in their email signature, so that we've got ourselves a pretty good lead. If they reach out to us, then my sales team will call them back.
Got it. So even in the Facebook world, you're that autoresponder is qualifying, because I know a lot about sales. I'm getting better at it myself, little by little. It's all about qualifying. So that responder is helping qualify them, getting them over to email, which qualifies them even more.
How serious are you? If you're real serious, send me an email. You know, right. And I don't manage that email. My manager manages that email, and so she runs it. And you'd never know it wasn't me. But so I'm sending the leads to her, and she's the person that's in distribution of all the leads to the sales team.
Right.
So to her, she reads them if they're valid. You know, I can't manage that email either, man. I get hate mail. You know, people don't realize my hair naturally does this. You know, my face is really this red all the time. I'm not like high on cocaine or whatever people always accuse me of. Like, I get called a douchebag 100 times, and I'm used to it at this point, but I'd rather not deal with it, right? So I just pawn all that off on her, because she probably has a good laugh, because I'm sure she has days where she's not exactly happy with me. And so when someone comes in with, you know, the so elegant way that salespeople cuss and make fun of people, I'm sure she actually enjoys that part of her job from time to time.
Good for her. At least she has some entertainment out of it. And I would think as you grow also, that's just gonna get worse. And we've seen that in your group too. People that, do you think it's and this is getting a little bit off the beaten path here, but do you think that people that aren't as successful and aren't doing as well as you, they just like to throwing shade at you for just because is it jealousy? I mean, what is it? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? I mean, why do people throw shade on people that are blowing up?
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not innocent from that either. And it's definitely jealousy. You know, I see guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, and I think the guy's half full of shit. You know what I mean? And that he's had a come up that the rest of us couldn't get. But man, the only reason I would even say something like that is just because I wish I was making $200 million a year. Am I going to get there? Yes. Did I get the head start that he did? No. I'm going to wind up there. But it's like, it really is like an inner jealousy. Like Gary's not doing anything wrong. He's like going out there raping kids and hurting people and stealing people's money and stuff like that.
Right.
But people hate on him. Same with Ty Lopez, man. As far as I know, he's not out there hurting anybody. You know what I mean? But maybe he's worth a lot of money. Maybe he's not. That's still up for debate. We know Gary's got real money at least.
Right.
With Ty Lopez, again, it's like, if he has all that stuff, it's just a jealousy thing. And what really it says about me or anybody else that does it, because I don't believe anybody's exempt. Some people they'll say it out loud. Other people just keep it in here. But either way, you're guilty. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the thing with a guy like them, especially with Ty Lopez and seemingly Gary, neither one of them seem like brainiacs. Right? I don't seem like a brainiac. None of us are like, figured out nuclear fission. We're not Elon Musk over here.
Right.
And so I think that makes it even harder on the haters, because they're like, these three idiots are doing successful things out there. And Gary's not saying anything special. Stewman's not saying anything special. Ty Lopez ain't saying anything specific. Yeah, see, pictures got me messed up on that. But he's not saying anything specific either on that. And so it's like, man, these guys are doing it. Why can't I? And I think that's really where it comes from. And I've been there when as I was coming up, I would see guys and now you realize most of that stuff's lies, right? You're not from necessarily Gary or Ty. I'm saying you see guys who are like, I'm making $100,000 a week. And you're like, you just started this business last week. How's that not happening for me? And you realize, because I'm telling the truth over here.
Right.
You're coming up, you don't know that. And so, it becomes really frustrating. You see people post these outrageous numbers online and you're like, you become jealous. I get that. I've been in those shoes before. So I kind of feel for the haters. And really the way that they get to me, man, is I position myself as a giver. I'm creating a foundation for these guys to be able to give back to fallen salespeople. I've got more sales articles written with actual content, like teaching, training content, than anybody, because everybody else's stuff is fluff about their cars and everything else. Mine is strictly sales. I've got 1,200 videos that I've made. I've invested last year alone $256,000 into just getting my message out there in front of people to help them, whether they buy it or not. I've already given away 3,000 books just in the last month that I paid for and gave away. And so, like, when somebody says something bad about me, it's like, damn it, man. It's like, it hurts, man. It's like I'm over here being the humanitarian of the year for the sales community.
Right.
Shit about me. You're killing me, man. It really is. It really does hurt. So I know it's a little off track, but that can get you off track, just like it sidetracked our conversation here.
Right.
You're trying to stay focused on Facebook, or you're trying to, as you say, get shit done, wake up early and get shit done. And then something like that can really distract you. I bet a bunch of people listening or watching to this have gotten through that before. They wake up, they're like, today's going to be a productive day. And then somebody sends you a douchebag message on Facebook and it ruins your whole day,
Exactly. No, you are right. It's you have to get a little bit of a rhino skin, but I'm sorry, we're all still human beings. And when someone does throw some shade at you, it does hurt, but I think over time you get a little bit better at just brushing it off. You have to. You have zero time. I don't know about you. I feel like we have a finite amount of time and I cannot spend too much time on that. Same reason I don't talk about politics a lot is because I might get hit by a truck pretty soon. I don't want to waste 5 minutes talking about politics, if at all. So I think you've gotten pretty good at brushing that stuff off, but I do know it still kind of does impact you. Something else I think you came by, you can tell me if you came by this naturally or if it was work, is over time recently, I've been learning a lot from Richard Koch and Perry Marshall about productivity. And if I was ever to paint the back of my wall here with something on there, it'd be the big giant 80-20. And I'm curious, as the Ryan Stewman empire has blown up, at what point in time did you realize I mentally cannot deal with what I have anymore? I mean, was that just recently? Was that 5 or 6 years ago? At what point in time did you hit that milestone where, no, I've got to get somebody? Because that was a big challenge for me, and I see people all the time that wonder how I get stuff done, and I outsource certain things, I keep certain things in. But I'm curious for you, when did you hit that threshold where I'm gonna kill somebody or I'm gonna outsource some stuff?
Well, here's what I did when I made. So it was me and a partner at first,
Right.
And in this business partner, we went into business with another business partner named Frederick Eklund, who's on TV, the $1 Million Listing guy from New York, right?
Right.
Well, the three of us did our first info training product. We made, I don't remember, that was a long time ago, but let's just say we made $100,000 from it. And so we divvied it up three ways. I went and hired an assistant. Frederick's already rich. He's out of the equation, right? He's already making $10 million a year at that point of his career anyway.
Right.
Selling real estate in New York. I think he's their top broker now. And the other guy, he likes drugs, so he goes and spends his on drugs, and so that's why he's not my broker anymore. So I go and I hire an assistant. And, not with all the money, but I mean, that was one of the first things I did. And so I made a list of all the stuff that I needed to do. And then I made a list of which ones that I like doing, just put little checks next to them and minuses, which ones I like doing, which ones I didn't do. And I assigned and trained the assistant that I hired how to do all the stuff that I didn't like to do. And so that's where it started. And then, a few months into it, we ran into a snag with Frederick, and he backed out on like our third round of doing things.
Okay.
I invested a lot of money into the deal, and little do people really know, the year that they won an Emmy, I'm going to take credit for this publicly for the first time, but like I've been low key behind a lot of famous people, right? Like I don't take credit for it because I'm always trying to write my own story over here.
Right.
The only time they've ever got nominated for an Emmy was the 6 months that I ran their ads on Facebook, because the networks back in 2012 had never heard of anybody running ads on Facebook,
right,
or anything like that. So at NBC, some executive probably got a raise that year for like putting billboards and signs on cabs in New York, right? Not realizing that it was our buy stuff from Frederick campaign that we spent $30,000 on that, raised 400,000 fans for his page and all that stuff, man.
Right.
So it's just interesting, some of the things I've been into over the years. But so I hired somebody to be my assistant. And there was even times, man, where things didn't go right and I couldn't pay her. And she stuck around anyway because she believed in what we were doing.
Right.
I just bought her a new car Friday. So like a 2000 Infiniti. So she's been around with us for a while. This is the second car that I bought her too. So, and so we, after probably, that was in 2012. By 2015, I realized that I needed to get a salesperson, and I just couldn't keep up with the amount of leads that were coming in. And this was like mid 2015. So for, 3 years, it was just me, and Lindsay's her name. It was just me and her working together. And I let the partner go soon after the whole Frederick debacle, and started, we actually had 3 different companies. I let him have 2. I kept the one that made sense, and it's the one that's famous and still around today. And so me and her worked on that. And then, 2015, I hired a salesperson, and I started training the salesperson. And then later on in 2015, I hired one of my best friends and trained him how to do funnels. And a pretty simple process. He's like a computer guy anyway, and he's way better than I am now. He picked it up. He's way better than I am now. And so that started helping a lot. And so I've scaled along the way. And now you look up, and I've got probably 14 people on my team, and then a few contractors that assist us as well. And not everybody's full-time that's on the team, and not everybody's making, massive amounts of money or whatever. I think my top salesperson, her best month last year was $40,000. She probably just made 20 last month, with January. It's always slow for us. So, so like I've got a really good team of people, and now I spend my time. What keeps me productive is I had to make the shift from salesman to CEO man.
Right.
And that's not easy, because I've always been stick it to the man. Like, we're out here in sales, we're on the floor, man, pay us more commissions. And now I'm having to fight the other side of those negotiations. The good news is I'm like, oh, hell no. I tried that back in 2010. You're not going to get that one over on me.
Right.
I'm a really good negotiator, but I spend my time creating the content, because the one thing that I can't, at this point, I have reduced my footprint to the one thing that can't be done and outsourced, which is me making the videos and me writing the stuff. Man, if I didn't write it and the people read it, they know it. They know it. Like, and I'm not even saying like I have this raving fan club, but whatever cult that I have built, they know. And they will send me messages, and that's just more headaches that I don't need, right? So those are the things that I have not been able to duplicate, is the writing side and the pictures and the videos. However, I have got good at streamlining that. We pre-record the pictures. I have a video crew now too. So we come over here, we pre-record the videos, and then they stream them through Open Broadcaster so that we can set up a schedule. So everything's still live videos, and it's the first time anybody's seeing it, but we pre-record it so I don't have to, again, go in to mess with social media. I've streamed my life to where I'm not really going on Facebook that much, but I'm sharing content to Facebook from the websites that I enjoy.
Okay, got it.
My favorite website being hardcorecloser.com, because obviously it's mine. So I share a lot of my content from there, just from that site into Facebook, so I don't have to actually go in there. And then my sales team and my staff know to watch for my posts so that they can handle whatever in the comments.
Got it. Okay.
So as I've grown, we've gotten more efficient with it, but now I think I've reduced this to where the one thing nobody's ever going to be able to do is replace me in video.
Right.
However, my rule for the end of this year is to have 2 or 3 people that are on that rise up status like I was on 2 years ago. And what I mean is I want other people where they're like, yeah, it's cool to watch Ryan on video, but he's got 1,200 videos. I think he said everything.
Right.
So now it's time for Patrick, for example, for you to step up and be the spokesperson for our company, because we made the shift last year from Hardcore Closer to Break Free Academy. A lot of people don't know about it yet, but we've made that slow shift to where we're pushing people to the companies under the Break Free Academy brand now anyway. And we've got our clients, that's always been our best selling product anyway. So we're making that shift. And so Break Free Academy will be kind of like a record company. Right. Where young talent will come in, and I write for Forbes, I write for Huffington Post, for Medium, for Entrepreneur, for Addicted to Success. I can get a login anywhere I want because of those credentials. So I've got the publishing house, the marketing arm, the list built. I've got all that stuff to where we can take somebody in that has talent, wants to make a product, and then say this course, this product, this person's backed by a BFA. So
got it. So it's almost like Hardcore Closure was the individual, the personality. And Break Free Academy is becoming, would you say it's going to become like a media company where you like, because I've seen other places do it, like almost like your own Turner. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Your own Turner Broadcasting. You do killer on video, but you're going to bring other people in and push them out. But you're always going to have that process, because Ryan already went through that process of the growth. You know what it takes to make somebody good and blow somebody up online.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where a lot of people have great things that they can talk about, or great products that they've created. They just have no clue how to get people to look at it. The shit's not easy. It really isn't. Like, I know internet marketers are like, hey, I made this thing yesterday and now it's printing $2,436 a day. Like, I've been through all that, man, and it's not that easy. It's not. Like, some people get lucky. Some people win the lottery too. It's just like most of us got to go to work for a living. Yeah,
some people get randomly hit by a car too. So
exactly,
whether it's lottery, get hit by a car. One of the let me see here. There was one other thing that was in the back of my head. I want to talk a little bit now, because like I said earlier, I don't want to keep you for too much time. As you're talking about all the stuff that's blowing up, I do want to touch a little bit on the sales side of what you do, because that's what I'm studying right now. And so with Break Free Academy and with some of the other products you're going right now, if sales and marketing are the lifeblood of a business, in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about that, but if you don't have money coming in the bank, you're not eating. If you don't work, you don't eat. If I was to follow Ryan and start trying to learn the sales process, where in Break Free Academy, is there a product I would start with? Should I start with a particular academy? What's the best way to go inside your funnel and start becoming killer at sales?
So we breakfreeacademy.com/entourage is our program. We've made it to where it's a blanket program. We were putting out way too much stuff at one point. So now it's like a membership. You pay for the membership, all the products are in one place, and you can have access to them as long as you're a member. And it's $297 a month, so it's not very expensive in all things considered. Right. There's tons of sales training, and really sales training these days is, how you talk and look and act and all that, but really there's a lot going on online as well. And we teach like what we call modern sales training, which is, I think that you almost hit the nail on the head. You're like swinging the right hammer, but I think marketing gets their attention, sales gets their money. And so you can't really have one without the other, but sales is the one that pays the bills, right? Marketing costs you money, sales pays your bills. And because it costs money to build marketing materials and everything else. But you have to have both of them. You can't build a solid pipeline, and no successful business exists without both of them. And that's what I teach. That's the modern way of doing things. Man, we're just a few short years away from logging in with goggles and artificial reality and having conversations with people that aren't even real and buying shit from them. It's coming, right? Like you can't sit if you like. There's no denying. Like it's not a theory anymore. It's not like maybe this is going to happen in the future. Like this is a for sure thing. It's just a matter of if it's 2 years or 5 years, but it's in that window coming.
Right. No, go ahead.
We've reached, by 2023, we'll have reached the pivotal point in society to where knowledge doubles every 72 hours. That means everything we know right now, 3 days from now, we'll know just as much and then double that more. Because the computer's keeping up with everything. It'll be too much to keep up with. So, and that's only 6 years from now. It's just a few years away. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you know, and right now, if a salesperson doesn't adapt to running Facebook ads and learning how to create sales videos and learn how to promote themselves and get their product, even if it's, some people don't consider themselves salespeople, they're business owners. It's the same thing. You got to sell something to get paid.
Right.
And, you know, we're all in sales in one form or another. And if you don't embrace this easy to do technology right now, you're going to be left behind by robots in the future. There's no denying it.
Okay.
You one day we're going to look back. We're going to, I mark my words. I'm saying this on your show for the first time ever. Like, people in my circle know this, but like one day we're going to hear an announcement. They're going to be like, "We found out how the pyramids were made. Turns out there were robots a long time ago that knew how to make all this cool stuff. They wiped out humanity, but there was a few people that snuck away, and it took us time to repopulate things." It seems like we're headed in that same little spiral now because we look at some things that robots build for us. You know what I mean? And we're like, dude, like cars, for example, when we built cars with just humans building cars, they didn't have GPS and all that stuff in them.
Right.
You know, like it's only a matter of a few more years before the cars drive themselves now. Dude, within the next 2 years, cars will probably only have back seats or something like that because if there's nobody to drive in the front seat, what the hell would you put yourself at risk for in the front?
What was that from? Was it RoboCop? No, it was Instant Recall, that Johnny Cab. With that little fake
recall,
with that little fake guy with the yellow hat and stuff. You know, he's trying to make conversation, but the little automatic cab driver. And I saw a video the other day that I thought was pretty cool, which I did not realize we were this far along. You're talking about auto driving cars. There was someplace overseas in Germany or something where a car was automatically driving, and since like the car in front of it slammed on his brakes, the automatic car slammed on his brakes. The car in front of the automatic car rear-ended the other car. So like the driverless car stopped a car accident because it can react faster than humans. I mean, I did not realize we were that far along in the robotics, man.
Dude, we're probably way farther along than that. That's just all they tell us about.
Okay.
We're probably years beyond that. That's just what we know. Because, like, think about it. If you're doing research, you're not going to tell people what you're researching right now.
Right.
Somebody might beat you to the research. You're only going to say, hey, this is the definitive stuff that we've already created. Check it out.
Got it.
Right? If not, you'd have to get a non-disclosure with the whole world to be able to announce it, if you think about it. So, dude, they're only telling us, like, retrospective stuff that's probably happened a long time ago.
Yeah, that's going to be hard for me. Being old school, it's going to be hard for me to – cruise control may be the farthest I go. I got to drive 3 or 4 hours next week, and the cruise control may be the farthest I go. Man, we've gone.
My Maserati parks itself. Have I ever pushed that button? Never. Never. My Porsche parks itself too. I never pushed that button on either one. Now look, when they say it's a green light that I don't have to drive anymore, dude, I'm all for being able to text and drive and not have to, because I don't text and drive now, but I'm all for being able to do that and, relax and let somebody else drive. I hate driving anyway. But like, man, like right now for parking and all that stuff, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, no, I'm all for, we're talking about productive minutes. And if I can be productive in the car, that's something I really look forward to. Yep. Whenever I go to San Francisco, I always have a town car pick me up, and I'm productive in that entire time from the airport to the hotel. I love that. Man, you're giving me a lot more time than I ever expected. Tell us about the latest book that came out. Now, I have to admit, I don't know the name of the latest book, but I know I saw a video a couple of weeks or maybe last week where it was a front video and it was a camera above you when you were talking about giving away that book. Can you tell us about that book?
Yeah, I have about 2,000 copies left. So depending on when you're watching this, you can go over to elevatortothetop.com and you can get a free copy. It's a book that's all about sales. That's it. It's 100% about sales. And I send the book out for free. It cost me about $10 to get the book print, shipped, and packaged, and everything else. And I've charged $7 for it.
Okay.
Because shipping and handling type crap. So, but you can get it for free at elevatortothetop.com. And it's changed a lot of people's lives from a sales perspective. Because I mean, you spend $8 and you learn 40 different ways to close sales. It's not a story about me.
Right.
Like, oh, here was my rough childhood. It's not any of that. It's like, boom, day one, how to build a pipeline when you got no money in your pocket starting out at a brand new sales job. And it walks you through that all the way to the end. It's like how to lead a sales team and become the #1 producer in the country 36 chapters later. And
nice.
It's work tracks, it's full of scripts, it's full of sayings, it's like practical action. And I'm telling you the entire time you're reading the book too, by the time it's over with, you're like, that son of a bitch pitched me like 50,000 times. So you got to respect the hustle. I do have to go though. I didn't realize it was this late as well. I've got a training here in 10 minutes or 15 minutes for my mastermind consultants as well. So
no, I appreciate the time. As soon as I make it back down to Dallas, man, I'm buying. I am going to go right after this recording and go to the elevatortothetop.com and pay my $8, $10, $20, $50. I don't care what it is, and get that in the mail. And just take it down with me next time I go down there and get you signed, man. I really do appreciate your time. I'm going to let you go. Get back to the hustle. Man, Ryan, everyone head over to Break Free Academy or Hardcore Closer and follow this man. Follow this man on YouTube, on Twitter. Listen to his shit and get shit done, man. Thanks very much for your time, Ryan.
Thanks for having me on, Pat.
Take it easy, man.